So let's start wrestling or WWE month of October with a kickoff, kind of obvious, with a Ring of Honor New Japan Pro Wrestling co-branded event. Global Wars 2016, Jay Lethal versus Colt Cabana for the Ring of Honor title, and I think you know where I'm going with this. I said this on Twitter what the upcoming thoughts video is going to be most likely regarding a certain superstar of the Ring of Honor division coming in to NXT and just recently had a match with Eric Young from TNA. Yeah. So, anyways, Colt had come back, and I don't watch Ring of Honor. I don't watch any of the other independent promotions. I would watch a match from time to time, but I don't watch it like full time like I do with WWE. Heck, I used to watch wrestling, Total Nonstop Impact, Total Nonstop Action, Impact Wrestling, and it was like alright. Like, I had a couple of good moments on there. Thought it was like a good alternative to WWE, since WWE was all kid friendly and TNA was all hardcore wrestling for the more hardcore fans. And then Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff came in and wrecked everything and tried to turn it into WCW 2000 and succeeded, and now look at them. Oh, God. So, anyways, the main event of Global Wars 2016 was Jay Lethal and Colt Cabana for the Ring of Honor Championship, or the World Championship. The match was set up during the first night of Supercard of Honor X, or 10, on April 1st, where Cabana returned to Ring of Honor, confronting and challenging Lethal after he had successfully defended the Ring of Honor Championship against Leo Rush. This marked Cabana's first appearance in Ring of Honor in 5 years. The following night, Lethal handpicked Cheeseburger as his next challenger, saying that he deserves a title shot more than Cabana. After defeating Cheeseburger, yeah, I'm questioning the logic in the name. Lethal was again challenged by Cabana, who then proceeded to defeat Lethal in an impromptu non-title match. Cabana had lost a match for the Ring of Honor Championship in 2009, which included the stipulation stating that he could never challenge for the title in his hometown of Chicago. However, Ring of Honor stated that this stipulation had been overturned during negotiations between Cabana and the promotion, setting up the main event of Global Wars between Lethal and Cabana. And here's the thing. They used logic. You see, they addressed a storyline that was 5 years ago, and was years ago, back in 2009, and they said, yeah, you know what, we addressed this. Let's take in Cabana's return and try to use the negotiation skills, and let's make a more realistic reason why this decision would be overturned. And Vince doesn't do that in WWE. He doesn't want to use logic. He prefers to make the audience forget everything because, you know, we're stupid idiots according to him. But that never works out. That has failed and alienated a lot of fans with him. To the point that when Kevin Owens beats the holy hell out of Vince and becomes euphoric and enjoying a little too much, that we actually think it's poetic just that NXT guy who hasn't had the build of a prototype WWE superstar like Roman Reigns beats the holy hell out of Vince. And is given full permission to do so. So this show took place in Chicago, and during the show, the Young Bucks had promised that there would be a new Bullet Club member, and there would be a huge super kick party. Oh man. And, okay, the Young Bucks, they're entertaining as hell. They're really entertaining. I don't think I can name one bad thing about them. Like, yeah, does the Too Sweet gesture, does the Suck It DX stuff they do, kind of a little unoriginal and not really inspiring and not really creative? Yeah, but they just put so much effort and energy into it that that is just so hilarious. But moving on, during their match, let's see, during their 8-man tag team match against Matt Sindel, Alex Shelley, Chris Saban, and Kushinda. It ended with no super kicks, you know, something that the Bullet Club really loves to do. A little too much. Okay, let's be frank. They do the super kicks so much that Dolph Ziggler, Shawn Michaels, let's see, who else does the super kick? Fandango, I think, Tyler Breeze, nearly everyone in NXT, they would all blush at the amount of super kicks the members of Bullet Club like to do. Yeah. So, yeah, we get to this main event, and everyone's pissed off that, why wasn't there a super kick party? We were promised a super kick party! Now, in any type of heel nonsense, this would be the heels doing exactly what they want. But here's the thing. The Young Bucks aren't your prototypical heels. They're, like, you know, entertaining. And actually has a personality to it. So, yeah. Cole, at the beginning of the match, Colt Cabana offered his hand. Lethal shook it, only to throw a kick, which Cabana blocked. And Colt was the early aggressor with the crowd really behind him because, well, Colt Cabana is Chicago native, pretty much. And the fact that he's best friends with a certain best in the world, who's no longer a wrestler, unfortunately, but I understand his motives why, because his injuries are the cause. So that does raise the question about UFC. So, yeah, okay. They go ahead and have this great matchup. It's great. Like, it's different to me from the WWE style, especially with the pile driver maneuver, which WWE has banned entirely. The only wrestlers allowed to do the pile driver are Kane and The Undertaker, and they're both gone. Undertaker's retired, and Kane is running for mayor. So don't expect any more pile drivers to be used unless it was a really, really, really good exception, like CM Punk versus John Cena before WrestleMania 29. Poor Punk. He could have made him in WrestleMania, but John Cena and Vince had to be political about it. After many solid favors that Vince owed him. So, anyways, they have this great match, and it looks like Colt Cabana's going to get this victory, and yeah, the shirts go out, the lights go out, the Young Bucks show up after super kicking a woman and a referee, Hendricks, oh boy, we get a 9-minute segment where we not only get, I must stress, this is a 9-minute segment. I have a video of the segment after when the match fell apart. It was 9 minutes and I believe 16 seconds. Within 9 minutes, they established several things, whereas WWE takes 20 minutes to establish one thing and then they fail at it. So, oh man. So anyways, also Nigel McGuinness was part of the company at the time, so he was on the show. The Bullet Club of the Young Bucks pulled out a pair of Bullet Club t-shirts. They tossed them to the champion and the challenger, Jay Lethal and Colt Cabana, and it looked like one of the, I believe Colt Cabana looked tempted and Jay Lethal was just confused. The lights go out again, and the broadcast team made it seem like it was a production error, which actually sounds a perfectly valid point. Like, yeah, production issues. Like, even though we know what's going to happen, they at least try to make realism out of it instead of magic, like the Wyatt family likes to do, or The Undertaker. Like, all due respect to The Undertaker, thou shalt not intentionally insult The Undertaker and expect to get away with it. John Cena. Anyways. Like, I get The Undertaker and I get the Wyatt family, but when the company of Ring of Honor is more focused on wrestling base, it's like ECW, but more wrestling, but it's a wrestling promotion, not a hardcore promotion. Like, hardcore wrestlers like Ring of Honor. No, not saying they don't, but like the Extreme Championship Wrestling and the Ring of Honor style, they're really much the same, but at the same time, one focuses on pure wrestling and the other one focuses on hardcore wrestling. So that's the big difference between the two companies. And, okay, the lights come back on, and we see Adam Cole, baby, standing in the middle of the ring wearing a Bullet Club t-shirt, and fans are just popped. Like, they love it. Like, oh my god, it's Adam Cole, he's back! And afterwards, Adam Cole does the Bullet Club's gun gesture, which is practically the only innovating thing they did, in my opinion, since, well, they copied a lot of stuff of DX and NWO. And even then, yeah. I like the Bullet Club, don't get me wrong. But even then, you have to take into account, yeah, there's a lot of stuff they keep taking from the NWO and the DX groups. But I'll rant about that in a moment regarding something that just recently happened regarding the Young Bucks. So the Young Bucks and Adam Cole proceed to super kick the hell out of everybody that tries to stand in their way. And then the Guerrillas of Destiny come out and join them on the carnage. Like, okay, they knocked out the commentators, and then Mick and, I'm trying to get their names right, Matt and Nick Jackson both performed, both took over commentary after super kicking Kevin Kelly and Mr. Wrestling, who's really over the top, and it's just kind of hilarious, and at least he's trying more than Michael Cole's allowed to try. But, yeah. They do this counter thing where they count how many super kicks were thrown. Oh my god, at the end of the show, it was counting up to 51. That was accomplished in less than 10 minutes, everybody. 51 super kicks in less than 10 minutes. Oh man, that's hilarious. Like I said, Ziggler, Michaels, like, compare the Young Bucks to Adam Cole. They delivered 51 super kicks. That's more than Shawn Michaels and Dolph Ziggler do in a day. Or Tyler Breeze, or Fandango, or Kevin Owens. That's more than they do in a day. But, like, yeah, imagine what would it be like if the Young Bucks came to WWE. Like, the super kick is practically part of their identity at this point. So imagine if WWE told them, you can't do the super kick because we have too many people doing the super kick. They'd be like, it'd be weird. So, yeah. Oh man, that's hilarious. So Adam Cole pretty much states his intention that he's going after the Ring of Honor Championship, and then he cut a promo saying, "My name is Adam Cole, baby, and we are the Bullet Club. This is our house, bitches." And proceeds to just run around with the title, and it's just hilarious. But afterwards, after all the super kicking of the Young Bucks' dad, the camera crew, the referee, security, commentators, oh, and Matt and Nick, the Young Bucks, they copied Jim Ross. Like, oh my god, all these people have families. And, oh, that guy had a family too. And, Kiss, I love you forever. I love you, super kick. Parodying, highlighting Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair's match at WrestleMania 24. Oh man. Oh god, this was just hilarious. I am practically speechless at how funny this is. Like, I'm surprised WWE did not sue them afterwards, because they can be very petty, especially after what just happened recently. So after all that of super kick galores, they go ahead and lay on the floor, on the canvas of the ring, and the Gorillas of Destiny just throws paint spray everywhere, and Adam Cole's saying that this is our world now. Nobody can stop us. Nobody can touch us. And the Young Bucks just kiss the sides of Adam Cole's cheeks and just, oh god, this is hilarious. Like, they're just so entertaining as hell. But here's the thing. That angle at the end of the match got very polarized reviews. A lot of people loved it, a lot of people hated it, and I get both sides. Like, they called, like, some people say it was too much like the NWO taking over a WCW show. I get why people would be mad at that, especially since they paid, like, what, $45 to see this pay-per-view, and they're pretty much given a Nitro ending. Or a Nitro show, in terms of the angle that ended the show. Because I was watching WCW, I remember Hulk Hogan, back when the group was small, before they blew up. They took over WCW Monday Nitro in '96. During the early days, like, I think afterwards, X-Pac joined the group, and Ted DiBiase, and then they got Vince involved. Not Vince McMahon, the $1 Million Man's assistant, pretty much. So, yeah, they got that guy involved, who is called Vince, to be head of security. That was the same show, I believe. But I'm like, oh, this is just hilarious. But here's the thing between the NWO and the Bullet Club's takeover of a show. The NWO treated it seriously, like they were acting like gangsters and humorists, yeah, but the Young Bucks, Adam Cole, their facial expressions, their attitude in it, especially Super Kick Galore, the world's largest Super Kick party, as they called it, that makes it so over the top hilarious. So, yeah, okay. Okay, those were my thoughts. Now, I'm going to rant about this. I've been ranting a little bit on Twitter if none of you viewers have seen it yet. But WWE, okay, remember how I mentioned the Bullet Club likes to do the too sweet gesture with the dog hand, and they like to do the DX chop? Yeah, WWE has sent a cease and desist letter to the Young Bucks to stop them from doing the too sweet gesture, because they claim that they own the patent trademarked. Okay, really? Like, you didn't put a stop to it when Bullet Club was starting out, but now that... Okay, that would explain why Bullet Club invaded WWE. They were outside the arena one time, just like this week, at the time of this video, but... Oh yeah, that would explain so much why they were there. And the Young Bucks are like saying, screw that, we're going to do things our way. So, yeah, the chances of them being seen in WWE might be a little bit. Unless they somehow convinced WWE. Like, Vince McMahon was not impressed. Like, so it's alright, DX did it. But if someone else tries to do it, no, that's against the rules. Like, if I was Vince made the same mistake Eric Bischoff made. Eric Bischoff said that one of the biggest regrets, besides giving Hulk Hogan too much power, well, I don't think he really labels that as a regret, since they did the same thing in TNA, but that should be a big regret. Was saying, Eric Bischoff have said this, he regrets not letting DX inside the building so they could film it on Nitro. That would have been huge. And now Vince McMahon has made the same mistake. They could have put in Bullet Club, brought them into the crowd, just do whatever the hell they want, like they did with ECW back in 95, I think. And they were alright with that, but now that doesn't count. Vince McMahon is stupid. He's too senile with age. So, yeah, New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor has had big things going with Bullet Club. Adam Cole became Ring of Honor champion 2 more times during this run with Bullet Club, and he got kicked out a year later. because then he got signed with WWE and just had his first match with Eric Young. And I'll talk about that to officially kick off October month for WWE or Wrestling Month. And like I said, this is going to be this. I really hope Adam Cole does well. But once he gets to meet Ross Deville, we have to decide. We have to determine what's going to happen afterwards. But yeah. When I had heard this, I was like, oh, this because this got me interested. Like, I was really interested, and a lot of people were like, yeah, a lot of people were like saying the angle at the end of the show was BS, and like a lot of people were mad, but I'm like, if this was just a standard regular Ring of Honor TV episode, I don't think the complaints wouldn't have been as big. But because this was a pay-per-view event where you paid $45 to watch, that is concerning to people. So, yeah. Oh, man. So, yeah, this got called polarizing. Dave Meltzer even criticized it, saying that WCW did something that WCW did similar, but had a great short-term goal, but not so great long-term. Considering where WCW is at right now, I'm pretty sure that should say something. And TNA has made the same mistake, and WWE seems to be going that route. Who had recently introduced the club at this time, and they've called it a blatant copy of Bullet Club. That's an insult to Bullet Club. It's a pale imitation, and it failed. Like, we just got Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, and they stripped everything that made them awesome. They stripped them out. In fact, Vince forgot that Luke Gallows was Festus. I've said this in previous videos, including in a podcast. Vince forgot that gimmick. I would be surprised I was surprised by that. So, yeah, like someone named Meg Metzer from another site said that it was masterful work and gave it a 5-star segment. Yeah, there was a lot of people debating on this. So, yeah. The crowd, I love, like, it reminds me so much of NXT, but Ring of Honor was around before NXT, so that's why a lot of people like to call NXT this WWE-sponsored indie promotion, as opposed to being part of the WWE machine, even though it is, but NXT might as well be in its own different world. But this was a great match. I really did enjoy the end of the show closing segment the most, because it was just so hilarious to me. Like, I knew, like, when I saw him call, I was like, yep, he's going to WWE, and what do you know? He's in WWE. I called it. Like, the minute he joined the Bullet Club, I knew, yeah, WWE's going to get him. Once he gets, after a couple of months, he'll be the hottest thing in wrestling right now, and he'll be hired by WWE. And sure enough, that proves to be the case. Now, Kenny Omega's the hottest guy in wrestling after his 6-star matches with Okada. I can't pronounce his name still. But WWE couldn't get him. He didn't want to leave New Japan Pro Wrestling. And now Cody Rhodes, who just goes by the name Cody, is one of the hottest things in wrestling. And WWE screwed up big time by letting him go and not fulfilling his true potential. In fact, Cody Rhodes said he was going to punch somebody in the face before he left. That would have actually been hilarious. Granted, he probably would be arrested if he had permission, and that's a different story, like Bret Hart had when he punched Vince. But, like I said, I'm just rambling at this point, so I'll just end the video. These were my thoughts on the Colt Cabana versus Jay Lethal, Adam Cole joining the Bullet Club video. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to for more.